Echoes of the Forgotten, Part 1. Elliot Gray didn't notice the letter at first. It was half crushed under his doormat, plain, unmarked, except for his name written in faded ink. No stamp, no return address, just 5 words inside. You're not who you think. He stared at the note. It felt like a prank, but something about it, the paper's brittle texture, the scent of smoke, dug at a buried memory. A fire, screams, a boy's voice calling from somewhere deep inside his dreams. That night, the nightmares came back. He stood in a burning hallway, smoke curling around him like fingers. A woman cried out, "Alien!" Then silence. A mirror cracked in front of him, and he saw not himself, but someone younger. The face was familiar, but not his own. The next morning, Elliot sat trembling in front of his laptop, typing the name, Elliot Grayson. He clicked the first link. Missing child, 1997, age 6. Last seen at Grayson Manor in Maine before it burned down. Date of birth, identical to his. Hair, eyes, even a scar beneath the left eye, same as his. He zoomed into the photo. It was like staring into the past. No, into a buried version of himself. Elliot, or Alien, searches memories. Childhood was a fog. No baby pictures. No real parents. Just guardians he never questioned. Until now. He looked in the mirror. Everything about his life felt borrowed. He picked up the letter again, hands shaking. If he wasn't Elliot Gray, then who the hell was he?
Echoes of the Forgotten, Part 2. The name Elliot Grayson echoed in Elliot's mind like a scream trapped under ice. He couldn't unsee the missing child's photo, couldn't unfeel the chill crawling down his spine. That was his face. That was his past. But how? He dug through boxes in his closet, old files, school records, medical documents. Nothing before age 7. His parents had always brushed off questions. "We adopted you, sweetheart." But it was closed. We never got details. Now, that felt like a rehearsed lie. His phone buzzed. A new message. Unknown number. "Stop digging. You're not ready." His blood froze. No name. No number. Just the same handwriting as the letter. He rushed outside, scanning the street. No one. Just silence and shadows. Elliot took a breath and made a decision. He'd go to Maine. Back to Grayson Manor. What was left of it? He had to see the place for himself. 2 days later, he stood before a blackened ruin swallowed by vines and silence. The Grayson estate was fenced off, condemned after the fire. but the lock was rusted. It gave way with a hard pull. Inside, the air reeked of ash and mold. His boots crunched glass and memory. He walked down a cracked hallway and froze. There it was, the mirror from his dream, shattered, still hanging. He reached toward it. A whisper filled the air.
Faint.
Alien. He turned sharply. A shadow flickered at the end of the hall. Not a trick of light. A child. Watching. And then it was gone. His heart pounded like a war drum. He whispered, unsure if to himself or someone unseen, "Am I being haunted or called home?"
Echoes of the Forgotten Part 3. Elliot didn't sleep that night. The whisper, the child, the mirror. It looped in his mind like a broken film reel. He kept replaying the scene, trying to convince himself it was a trick of fear. But deep down he knew better. The next morning, the air in the motel was thick. The old fan above him groaned like it too remembered something it shouldn't. He packed his bag, but hesitated. He wasn't done with that house. Not yet. Back at the manor, he returned to the hall with the mirror. The air felt colder this time, like the house knew he was back. He stepped carefully into what used to be a bedroom. The walls were charred, the floorboards warped, but in the center lay a small, half-burnt box. He crouched. Inside were pieces of a life, a child's drawing, a toy car melted on one side, and a locket. He opened it. Inside 2 photos, a woman with kind eyes, a boy him, the same face from the missing poster, only younger, smiling, alive. Suddenly, footsteps behind him. He spun around. Nothing. But then a whisper. Closer this time. "Elian, don't forget." He backed away, breath shallow, every nerve lit. This wasn't just memory. It wasn't just a haunted house. Something was here, watching, waiting, and it knew his name.
Echoes of the Forgotten Part 4. Elliot left the room with the box, gripping the locket so tight it left a mark in his palm. His pulse thudded in his ears. The house wasn't just creaking, it was breathing. As he passed the staircase, a sudden thump echoed from upstairs. He froze. Another sound, lighter, like small feet running. He took the stairs slowly, each one groaning under his weight. At the top, the hallway stretched out like a tunnel of shadows. Dust hung in the air like smoke. Doors on either side stood ajar, as if waiting. Then he saw it. A child's silhouette at the end of the hall. Still, facing him. He couldn't breathe. "Elian," the child said softly. Elliot's knees nearly buckled. "Who are you?" he managed. The child stepped forward, pale face, hollow eyes, but familiar, like looking into a warped reflection of himself. "You left us," the boy said. "You forgot." "Forgot what?" But the child was already fading. A gust of wind slammed a door nearby. Elliot ran to it, heart racing, and pushed it open. Inside, a nursery. Burnt toys. A rocking horse charred at the edges. On the wall, something had been scratched into the plaster. "We remember." Suddenly, the locket grew hot in his hand. He opened it again. But this time the boy in the photo was crying. And from behind him in the empty room a whisper, "Remember with us or stay."
Echoes of the Forgotten, Part 5. The air around Elliot thickened as the whisper lingered, wrapping itself around his skin like icy fingers. His grip on the locket tightened, the metal biting into his palm. He swallowed hard, his mind racing with 1,000 questions but no answers. Suddenly, the room grew darker. Shadows stretched, twisting into shapes that seemed almost human, but not quite. They flickered, danced, and then surged forward, swallowing the light. "Why did you leave us, Elian?" The voice was everywhere and nowhere, echoing through the ruins of the nursery. Elliot staggered back, heart hammering. His memories flooded, snatches of laughter, tears, and a fire roaring in the night. Faces he couldn't place stared accusingly at him. I don't remember," he whispered, voice trembling. A cold wind howled through the broken window, scattering ashes and fragments of burnt toys. Then, in the deepest corner of the room, a small figure appeared, clearer this time. A boy no older than 6, with eyes like storm clouds. "You must remember," the boy said, reaching out. Elliot's vision blurred. His head throbbed as memories crashed back. A night filled with smoke and screams, a desperate run from fire, a face of a woman calling his name. His mother? Tears streamed down his face. "I'm sorry," he choked. "I don't know who I am anymore." The boy smiled sadly. "Then remember with us, or be lost forever." The shadows closed in, and Elliot felt himself pulled into the abyss of forgotten truths.
Echoes of the Forgotten, Part 6. Elliot's body trembled as the shadows swallowed him whole, dragging him into a vortex of flickering images and lost time. He was falling through memories not his own but somehow familiar, like fragments of a dream he couldn't shake. Suddenly, he was standing in a forest. The air was thick with smoke, the scent of pine burned by fire. Flames licked the edges of trees, casting eerie glows on the faces of children running, screaming, searching. There she was, the woman from the locket. her eyes wild with fear, clutching a small boy to her chest. That boy was him, Elian. Or maybe Elliot. He couldn't tell anymore. The woman turned, whispering a desperate promise, "I will protect you. No matter what." The scene shifted. He was a child again, hiding under a bed as the fire roared above. The walls cracked, the heat unbearable. A man's voice yelled, "Get out. Now." Elliot gasped, waking back in the nursery, drenched in sweat. The shadows were gone, but the weight of truth pressed heavy on his chest. He wasn't just haunted by ghosts. He was haunted by a past erased. A past that was fighting to be remembered.
Echoes of the Forgotten, Part 7. Elliot sat on the cold floor among the rubble, trying to gather himself in the swirling storm of memories that refused to let go. Outside, the night was dark, but nothing compared to the darkness inside him. The wind whispered old names and broken secrets through the shattered window. He reached for the photos inside the locket, but suddenly he felt a cold hand grip his own. He spun around, heart pounding, only to find a chill breeze slipping through the cracked glass. His pulse thundered, challenging the unknown. A faint voice, like a distant moan, echoed. "Know the truth before you drown in forgetfulness." The words made his head spin, tears streaming down his cheeks. He had to know. He had to face it. Near the rubble, he found a small notebook open to a page with a crude map of the house. Symbols and strange markings covered it, but one phrase stood out. "The secret room." He smirked bitterly. This isn't coincidence. It's a summons.
Echoes of the Forgotten, Part 8. Elliot's fingers trembled as he traced the symbols on the crumpled map. The secret room, the words burned into his mind like a brand. He didn't need to think twice. This was the key. He followed the map's directions through the twisted hallways of the old manor. Every creak beneath his feet echoed like a warning. Shadows shifted, watching, waiting. Finally, he reached a wall covered in peeling wallpaper. At its center was a small panel, barely visible, hidden beneath layers of dust and time. His breath caught. With shaking hands, he pressed the panel. A grinding noise filled the air as the wall slowly slid open, revealing a narrow staircase spiraling down into darkness. Elliot hesitated, then stepped forward. The air grew colder, heavier. He could feel something ancient and restless lurking below. At the bottom, the secret room lay in ruins, but alive with memories. Old toys lay scattered. Dusty portraits hung crooked, and in the center, an ornate chest waited. He opened it. Inside lay letters, journals, and a faded photograph of a man who looked strikingly like Elliot, but older and worn by sorrow. One letter caught his eye, written in shaky handwriting. To my son, if you find this, know the truth you seek will change everything you believe. Forgive me. A storm of questions raged in Elliot's mind. Who was this man? And what truth had he hidden so well?
Echoes of the Forgotten, Part 9. Elliot sank to the floor, clutching the letter like a lifeline. The words inside twisted his mind and tugged at his soul. The man in the photograph, his father. A father he never knew, a father lost in shadows. The letter spoke of a family curse, of secrets buried deep beneath the manor, and a sacrifice made to protect a fragile hope. Elliot's hands shook as he flipped through the journals. Stories of love, betrayal, and a desperate fight against an unseen darkness. Suddenly, a cold breeze swept through the room, extinguishing the flickering candlelight. A voice, soft but deadly, whispered from the shadows, "You seek the truth, but some truths are meant to stay hidden." Elliot stood, heart pounding, eyes scanning the darkness. "I'm not afraid," he said, voice steady despite the fear clawing inside. The shadows writhed, forming shapes, faces of those lost, of promises broken. "You must decide," the voice said. "Remember and face the curse, or forget and live in chains." Elliot clenched his fists. He would not run. Not this time.
Echoes of the Forgotten, Part 10. Elliot took a deep breath, feeling the weight of the past and the future collide within him. The shadows circled closer, whispering promises of oblivion or freedom. He remembered the faces, his family, the lost children, the mother's desperate vow. "No more running," he whispered. "I will break the curse." With trembling hands, he took the locket and placed it on the chest. Light burst forth, filling the room with warmth and clarity. Memories flooded back, truths, pain, love, all tangled but real. The shadows screamed, then faded, releasing their hold. Elliot stood alone, but stronger. The curse was broken, not by forgetting, but by facing the truth head-on. He stepped into the dawn, ready to rebuild what was lost. Because sometimes, the darkest past can lead to the brightest future.